We eat, we drink, and we often say things like, oh, this tastes good, or I love strawberry flavors. But how often as you are eating and drinking, do you really think about where the flavor that you are tasting and talking about comes from? It's actually more complicated than you think. And did you know that your nose is actually involved? Today we are going to have a closer look that is going to change how you think about tasting wine and food. Hi there, I'm Jacqueline for Vero, where we go around the world searching out wild and scarce, hard to find wines and products to bring to consumers, businesses, and distributors across the US. Of course, we do have a very rough job of quality control, having to taste and check every product we carry that they meet our standards of goodness. And while we do think a lot about different criterias, one of the big ones that we always consider no matter the product is that of flavor. So what we often refer to as flavor, like a cherry flavor or the flavor of a particular food, are actually the interactions of different things going on in our mouths. Two are the most important of these are taste and smell. By the way, we have actually written blog articles dealing with this topic that you can find on the Vero blog on verovino.com. If you're enjoying content like this, we would recommend to leave a like below, but also head over to Vero Vino to sign up for the Vero newsletter, where we originally released a notification to all of our followers about these articles being released. Also, you can subscribe to the link I've got below and here on YouTube so that you never miss another tidbit of wine education, information, or videos that we publish. Now, back to taste. Technically, taste is linked to the sensory cells on our tongue. To oversimplify, they make up our taste buds, but the classic map of the different taste zones on the tongue is greatly outdated. There aren't really particular taste zones, so to speak, as the receptors are all looking for the same thing, certain chemicals in the foods and wines that we enjoy. Basically, our brains will interpret these chemicals into what we now classify as tastes, like sweet or bitter. It is generally accepted that there are 5 tastes: sweet, sour, salty, bitter, and savory. Some currently debate as well that umami would be another taste to add to the list. However, we tend to associate certain tastes with certain foods. Like we learn that sugar has a sweet taste, and foods with lots of sugar tend to be sweet. But remember that sweet alone is not really a flavor. It needs another component: smell. As anyone that has laughed while trying to drink can attest, our nose and mouth are actually linked. When we chew, swallow, swish in our mouths, we are releasing chemical compounds from our food and drink into our mouths. As we breathe, and as stuff moves around in our mouth and our esophagus, these compounds will get wafted into our nasal cavity from behind, called a retronasal effect. This is why when you have a cold or you pinch your nose shut, this blocks off the free airflow and thus the aromas through the back of your throat and your nose. And this means we will often perceive diminished flavors in these cases. It's like when you were a kid and you didn't want to take the cough medicine, what did your parents do? They made you pinch your nose. In reality, this is diminishing the smell, therefore the flavor. Now, our brains will put 2 and 2 together, the taste sensation with the smell aromas, and connect the dots in the form of flavors. You eat a piece of candy. You can sense the sweetness of the sugar, you smell the, usually, added aromas, and you understand strawberry flavor. It's why often when we talk about wine, we talk about the flavors we sense. Chemical compounds are chemical compounds, and it's more likely that our brain can connect those compounds to something it has already tasted and or smelled before. Hence why we lots of times get flavors like cherries or plums. Now, when we consider food and wine pairing, it is why sometimes smart pairings, as we've talked about in previous videos, can build off of complementary flavors, or looking for foods and wines that have these similar flavors and compounds. However, it is worth mentioning as a caveat to all of this that our brains and these connections are limited to identifying flavors, tastes, and smells that we have experienced and connected with before. We know strawberry flavor because we have eaten a strawberry. We've seen the strawberry, put it in our mouth, and associated the strawberry with the flavor. And therein lies the beauty. Flavor and taste can be entirely subjective and shaped by each individual worldview and experience. This means that we need to expand our tasting vocabulary, so to speak, or rather our flavor databases in the brain. Thankfully, this is not only easy, but enjoyable to do. All you need to do is taste lots of food and drink new wines. But The catch is you can't just gulp it all down. You gotta chew, think, and meditate on it. What sensations are you feeling? What aromas do you smell? What flavors do you now taste? And luckily for you, Vero can help you with at least a part of this by supplying you with good wine. So head over to the Vero shop at verovino.com to have a look at our selection of hard-to-find good wines to practice your flavor associations with. So thank you for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please leave a like below and don't forget to subscribe both here on YouTube and to the Vero newsletter on verovino.com to stay up to date on new content and new wine releases. I will see you with the next video, which might just be this one here. Bye!